Hello, busy parents. Welcome to Quick Tips for Busy Parents. This short video is called Tough Stuff in the Teen Years and Where to Go for Help. I'm Belinda from Southwest Metro Parenting Service. I'm actually a parenting facilitator at Miralinga Parenting Service, and we form the Southwest Metro Service along with City of Coburn and Keys Parenting. So the information in here is going to be useful for people all over Western Australia. I hope that it's helpful if you're the parent of a teen and you're faced with some tough stuff. So the key messages for this short video are just laying out the groundwork, factors impacting parents and those impacting teens, and then how we might think about becoming an ally to our teens, standing alongside them and being a real support to them. And then just laying out what are some of the tough stuff that our teens are dealing with and where to find help when faced with the tough stuff. Just to clarify that when we talk about teens, we're thinking about 12 to 18-year-olds. So if you're the parent of a teen, I don't need to tell you that you're probably facing a sense of isolation, like I'm the only one dealing with these challenges. A real feeling of overwhelm, like what do? I don't know how to deal with this. Absolute exhaustion after more than a decade. You're probably really feeling like you could do with 3 months off. We call that long service leave here in Australia. It's great, but we don't get it as a parent. We often don't have a lot of time. We're all out all day. We maybe connect together at the end of the day, and it can be really tricky to find that time. These days, too, there's that sense of our children often being in that virtual world that, for me anyway, I am not what we call a digital native to that world. I'm an immigrant to that world, and I don't really understand it in the way that my kids do, and that can feel quite challenging. And finally, a lot of parents are facing broader structural oppressions like racism, sexism, poverty, really some difficult things that we're dealing with. So it's no wonder that things can feel tough. I think the key takeaway here is that if you're finding it tough, there's nothing wrong with you, there's nothing wrong with your kids. Now, our teens, this information here is really from hand-in-hand parenting, which is an approach that I'll reference a bit throughout this short video. Hand-in-hand parenting takes the view that our teens are amazing, and I know this firsthand. I've been a high school teacher, I've worked with teens a lot, and I have two teens of my own. They're incredible. But each teen does carry some old, crusted over hurts, challenges related to their early experiences and patterns of relating to the world. And they also face some specific oppressions around being a teen in our society. Teens are not seen well in our society. I always talk about that sense of young men being presented really poorly. And when my boys were small and we would go to skate parks, I cannot tell you how many beautiful moments of care and support I witnessed in that space. And I really always come back to that there's the image we get in the media, and then there's the reality. And we don't respect our teens in the media and in that general perspective we have of teens. They're deserving of our respect. Now, this endemic disrespect that they receive also shows up between them as they sort of try to process all of this. They often don't get a sense of being able to play freely, and that has a big impact on their mental health and well-being. They're separated from that simple affection that humans thrive on. It's such a confusing world for our teens at the moment. They're faced with this barrage of information. They lack models of thoughtful leadership, hopeful adults who work positively towards change. So it's a really tough time to be a teen. The best way I know of to become a strong ally, a person walking alongside your teen rather than coming over the top and sort of bossing them about, which never really ends that well. The best way I know is listening partnerships, which is a fantastic, simple idea from hand-in-hand parenting. I'm not going to go into great detail about it now, but really it's about parents meeting regularly, two parents meeting regularly and swapping just a space to figure all of this out, a space where we don't give advice or try to fix things or interrupt even. You can learn more about listening partnerships from Miralinga or just by looking up hand-in-hand parenting. It's a great option for beleaguered, exhausted parents. So, in our listening partnerships or in other spaces, if we've got thoughtful grown-ups to talk to, we can work through some of our own upsets and big feelings so that we can be more thoughtful allies to our teens. We need to build good support for ourselves so we do have some time and some logistical time and space. We need to work on all of our own issues and emotional baggage that we're carrying with us, essentially learning to not confuse our teenagers' behavior with other people and other times. So often we get flung into this, you know, really hyper worried state of it's going to be just like it was with this person that I knew when I was a kid or my uncle so and so. We often confuse their behavior with other people and other times. And if we're tired, that's when things can go boom. So it's up to us to figure these things out. We're the grown-ups, even though our children may be 14, 15, 16, 18, it's up to us to figure this out. It's important to note that they're really facing some huge, tough stuff. For a start, they've been faced with 1 or 2 decades of a lot of disrespect, a lot of power over behavior, a lot of challenges. And grown-ups are often not very interested in listening to them and hearing their views or their reality. I've really loved learning about a recent piece of research done by ReachOut, which I'll refer to in a moment, where it stated that parents of teens were overwhelmingly worried about their use of social media and its impact on their mental health. But when teens were interviewed, they were overwhelmingly clear that those spaces are where they go for their mental health support. So listening in to our teens is a powerful way to support them. So the challenges of screens, though, are real, and teens were very clear about that in that research too. Bullying, sexting, porn. Oh my goodness, there's so much there for them, but often they're quite alone with it because talking to us at best often means we get a bit judgy about it and we're not able to just be this warm, caring listener. We get worried, we get judgy, we threaten to take things off them. Those things are unhelpful for them. They're navigating changing bodies, changing relationships, friendships, and then we get to the real tough stuff. I mean, those are tough things, but we get to self-harm, mental health issues like depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideation. It gets really, really tricky. So when they're facing these big things, Miralinga and Southwest Metro Parenting is a great place to come before we get there. To help you with information about child development, some strategies for building a strong, connected relationship, some ways forward that are really positive. Once you reach that more critical intervention period, you might like to look at some of these great supportive online spaces. So the Raising Children website is the evidence-based Australian website, which has a whole section on teens, gives you lots of ideas there. If you're concerned about your teen and you're feeling like they're not going to speak to you at the moment, Kids Helpline is free, confidential. You can access that through chat or on the phone. There's also spaces like that at Beyond Blue. Headspace has an e-Headspace alternative where you can access counselling and support online. Organisations like Mercy Care in our area have some support for teens as well. Reach Out is one I really love. They actually offer things like 4 free sessions with a counsellor for parents to support them, to support parents to find strategies and ways forward, similar to what we at Miralinga do and at Southwest Metro Parenting do. Right By You is a fantastic resource that I've recently discovered. Here For You is a helpline, I think it's 9 to 1 Melbourne time. And if you're dealing with family and domestic violence, 1-800-RESPECT is a really great resource to visit with. Crime Stoppers can be a great place to go to report things like sexting, online abuse. Lifeline is a great support line, and eSafety, the website there, is really great. So I'm going to stop sharing this one actually and take you across to some of these websites so you can just have a quick look and see, the different options, what you might like to check out there. So Let's just see here. It's proving slower than I was hoping. Just going to pause for a moment while I track it down. Okay, thanks for your patience. Here we go. So Reach Out, fantastic website, so much great stuff on here. Um, One of the things I love on here is there's a forum for parents of teens, an anonymous forum. You can go in there, get support. There's also a forum for teens. I believe it's moderated by peers. There's just so much on here for you to check out and get help and advice with. Then we've got Emerging Minds is another one that's less focused on teens, but there is a great podcast here. There's some great stuff about LGBTQIA plus masculinity and raising boys to be good men, as you see there. Fantastic stuff. Raising Children is the Australian parenting website. Here we go, preteens and teens. Lots there for you. Here's 1-800-RESPECT, taking a while to load. Lots of information there, confidential information, counselling and support. And there is a lovely page on Beyond Blue full of information about things like self-harm, bullying, mental health, drug and alcohol use. Headspace gives lots of great ideas there. You can go in person to Headspace, but you can also access their e-Headspace, the website, get online and phone support. Often teenagers are not wanting to talk to someone, so that chat can be a really great option to help them. Same with Kids Helpline. There's a specific section here on young adults, 18 to 25, another section on 13 to 17-year-olds. And there's also things like articles and whatnot on here as well. So your teen may like to have a look through there. Lifeline, fantastic crisis support space. eSafety gives you lots of ideas about social media, just ideas to support you as parents, but also things on there for your young person. Crime Stoppers, you might like to know about in WA because that's where you can go to report sexting, bullying online, things like that. Now, this is right by you. I absolutely love this resource, a mental health resource for friends of young people at risk. So I'm worried. What can I do to help? Contacts I can give my friend. Absolutely brilliant. And finally, here is the Here For You support line. So this is around mental health, drug and alcohol, and there's a support line there, which you can call 7 a.m. till 10 p.m. It says. That's great. So there's also lots of options if you need translation or if you've got hearing difficulties. So that just gives you a sense of some of what is online and available to help you as you navigate the tough stuff. So I'm just going to head back to, here we go, just to finish up with you. Got this really simple resources page here that might have some more information, including our contact details at Miralinga, Coburn and Keys, and some other great websites there that might be useful more generally. So in closing, we've looked at factors affecting parents and teens, the kinds of ways we might need to work to really think as clearly as we can to bring our best intelligence instead of just freezing up and being really stressed to supporting our teens and being an ally. We've raised just some of the tough stuff that teens might be facing, but most importantly, this little video was just to give you some sense of what's out there, what help you can find with the tough stuff. So I really encourage you to go through and have a look at some of those websites. We're going to put a long list in the description that includes links to all of those websites and also a very quick 2-minute feedback form. We'd love you to fill that out for us so that we can let our funding body know about the impact these are having. So I'd love for you to hold in your mind as you go away what your takeaway is and what insights you've had. And I want to finish by saying thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Parenting teens is a big job and it's a really important one. Thank you so much for everything you do. It's really vital work. Thank you, parents.